She had dismissed him the first time she saw him, a poor mechanic with oil-stained hands and worn-out shoes, thinking he was nothing more than a fleeting shadow in her busy life. But the day she saw him with another woman, standing in the soft glow of the late afternoon sun, something inside her broke in a way she had never expected. It was as if the world had shifted, forcing her to confront a truth she had been blind to all along. Before we dive deeper, if you believe in kindness and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness. It all began in a small, dusty garage tucked away in the heart of the city. Marcus, the mechanic, worked tirelessly every day, fixing broken cars, motors, and sometimes even the daydreams of the neighborhood kids who would gather around to watch him work. He had a quiet strength, the kind that didn't demand attention but earned respect. His life was simple, almost painfully so, living in a tiny apartment above the garage, surviving on whatever little he earned, and dreaming of something more than just survival. She, on the other hand, lived in a world of polished shoes, glass doors, and endless meetings. Clara had never paid much attention to people like Marcus. To her, he was just another person in the background, a worker she barely noticed when her car broke down one rainy afternoon. She had approached him with that subtle air of superiority, expecting him to be clumsy or unprofessional. But Marcus greeted her politely, offered a smile that was warm but hesitant, and immediately began assessing her car with careful hands. Clara had been annoyed by the time he asked for a few hours to fix it properly, unwilling to wait, convinced she had more important things to do. She had walked away, leaving him there, her mind already moving on to more important matters. Yet that moment lingered in her memory, though she would never admit it. There was something about the quiet determination in his eyes, the way he moved with purpose, that planted a seed of curiosity in her heart. Weeks passed, and Clara's life continued its glamorous pace. But fate has a way of unraveling the tightest of schedules. One evening, walking past a local cafe, she noticed Marcus sitting at a small table, his hands resting gently on the shoulders of a young woman. Her first instinct was indifference, yet as she stopped in her tracks, something deep inside her stirred. The woman beside him was laughing, her eyes sparkling with joy, and Marcus's smile was tender, full of care and warmth. It was a side of him she had never seen, a side that made her heart ache with something she couldn't name. Clara watched silently from a distance, unable to tear her eyes away. She realized she had underestimated him, dismissed him unfairly, and perhaps missed a chance to know someone extraordinary. She saw the way he listened, the way he laughed, the quiet compassion in his gestures. Marcus, the man she had thought was ordinary, was anything but. That day, she felt the sting of regret, a painful reminder of the walls she had built around herself. Curiosity eventually overcame her hesitation, and she found herself visiting the garage more often, under the pretense of needing car repairs, but truly, she wanted to see him again. Each visit revealed a new layer of his life, a life marked not by wealth or status, but by integrity, resilience, and an unwavering kindness. Marcus never boasted about his struggles or his sacrifices, yet she began to piece together the story of a man who had given everything for his family, for his community, and for dreams that seemed too fragile to ever come true. Slowly, Clara's perception changed. She learned about the woman from the cafe, a childhood friend of Marcus's who had just returned to the city. Their connection was deep, rooted in shared memories and unspoken loyalty, and Marcus had been her silent anchor through challenging times. Seeing him with someone who valued him, who recognized his worth, made Clara understand the beauty of someone who gives without expectation, who loves without seeking recognition. The transformation in Clara's heart was gradual but profound. She started noticing the little things, how he treated every person who walked into his garage, how he laughed softly when a child asked too many questions, and how he carried himself with quiet dignity despite life's hardships. The man she had once dismissed now seemed larger than life, not because of any material success, but because of the strength of his character and the purity of his heart. As weeks turned into months, Clara realized that life had a strange way of teaching lessons. Sometimes it takes watching someone flourish elsewhere, seeing the joy they bring to another, to truly understand what was missed. And in that realization, she found a deep emotional awakening. She began to reflect on her own actions, her own prejudices, and the walls she had built around herself. She understood now that kindness, patience, and empathy were not just virtues. They were lifelines connecting souls across the most unlikely divides. One afternoon, Marcus helped Clara with her car again, but this time their interaction was different. There was mutual respect, a recognition of humanity that had been absent the first time. Clara smiled, a genuine warmth spreading through her chest, as she realized that sometimes letting someone go and witnessing their true light from afar could be more transformative than holding on too tightly. As Clara walked away from the garage that day, she carried with her a profound lesson about life and love, about judgment and second chances. Marcus remained in his world of grease and engines, but his impact on her life was indelible. He had shown her that true greatness is not measured by wealth or appearances, but by the capacity to love, to persevere, and to uplift others quietly, without fanfare. If this story touched your heart, please engage with the video by liking, commenting, and sharing it. Your support can inspire more stories that celebrate kindness and second chances. Before you go, take a moment to leave a comment sharing a moment when someone surprised you with their true worth. It would mean so much to the channel. In the end, Clara learned that life's most profound lessons often come in the quietest, most unexpected moments, and that seeing someone's heart rather than their circumstances can change everything.